Hey everybody, it is episode 58 to Celebrate Live, and we are here and we have a very special guest in the house right now. We have Bill Streetman joining us today, and we are going to be talking about the 2018 Tour of Hope. I mean, doesn't that name itself, Tour of Hope? You just want to know everything there is to know about it. But as always, I'm going to ask for your help. I'm going to ask you to hit that share button and share it up in the feed, because this is a message. This is an exciting opportunity that has never been done before. We're going to take you on a tour of Texas, literally, and we're going to tell you in the video how to do it. But before we go there, I'm going to officially introduce you to the one and only Bill Streetman.
Hello, everybody.
Bill.
I'm so happy to be here.
I'm so excited. We travel together all the time.
Yes.
We're hanging out at conferences, and he's never been to the home office.
Never been here, and I live just an hour and a half down the road.
Hour and a half, which is where?
Westerville, Ohio.
He's an OH.
I-O.
See, we're all trained. We're trained. It's an OHIO.
Automatic.
And we had the pleasure of going to Bill's house last year when we did the 5K for the WLSFA.
Stamp out obesity.
Yep, we stamped out obesity. I loaded up the company dog. I loaded up the crew, and we drove down to Bill's, and we did the 5K with you, met up with our friend Daniel, and we hung out with Bill. And we always say, you got to come to Wadsworth. You got to come this way.
Right.
So when we start talking about the Tour of Hope, which you're going to learn all about today, we said, we're going to do this. And Bill said, I'll come.
I was going to ride my bike up, but it's pouring cats and dogs out there. So
yeah. Midwest rain did not cooperate today with us.
It was not a good day to ride a bike for sure. And
no, we would not.
In the summer sometime I'll come up on
for sure. Maybe when we have that new grand opening exciting project.
Oh, yeah.
Which we'll tell you about in time to come.
Yeah, that is exciting.
Hey, everybody's jumping on. Hi, Sandy. Hi, Carrie. Pam's on here with us. Welcome, everybody. For those of you that don't know me, my name is Laura Preston, and I am the marketing manager. A lot of people don't know me. It's a true story. I'm the marketing manager here at Celebrate Vitamins, and each week we do these live videos because we want to bring you these inspirational and motivational people. We want to bring you mentors. Of course, we're going to talk about vitamins, and we're going to tell you what's new and great in the vitamin world, but we also want to bring you people that are going to inspire you and motivate you and educate you, and that's what we're doing today with Bill. Bill is one of the most inspirational, motivational. When you said he's so, and I'm gonna rave about you for a minute. He's so quiet and so subdued and soft-spoken, but when this man gets fired up, he goes for it. He goes all the way in, and when you get done, you're gonna want to go buy a bike, and you're gonna want to get your butt outside, and you're gonna want to start working out, and you just are gonna want to get involved. There's no way you're not going to.
I like to see the world. I like to see the world go by at 12 to 15 miles an hour. It's just a whole different perspective.
And for me, I'm 100 miles a million hour, and so I'm going to come down.
Yeah,
I'm going to bring it down to Bill's level for a minute, right? And enjoy what's around me.
Right.
But I want to bring him to you today for a very special event, a very special cause. But we all know Bill is the bike guy. You know, Bill Streetman. Is that guy? Is that the bike guy? Is that the Tour of Hope guy? Is that the WLSFA bike guy? But there's so much more to know about Bill. Hi, guys. Jump on in. And I am going to share that with you today. So, Bill, tell us a little bit about Bill. Are you married? Do you have kids? Do you have grandkids? Tell us.
I am married to Colleen, who many people know because she travels with me almost all the time when I go to conferences or I speak somewhere. And she's my number one supporter, and I mean, I owe her everything. She is my
you're rock.
I'm starting to choke up already.
I know, don't choke up. Colleen, if you're watching, seriously, what do you do to this guy?
Yeah. Don't tell everything, Colleen. And I have three sons, aged 30, 31, 33, and they're Andrew, Terry, and Tommy, and oldest to youngest daughter. Tom lives in Korea, and Terry lives in Omaha, Nebraska, and Andrew lives 4 doors around the corner from me in Westerville.
So we have some close at home, but Tom, the one that lives in Korea, he just got married.
He did. Thanksgiving, Colleen and I and Terry and his wife Emily flew over there, and we attended their wedding. It was really fantastic. But we were there on Thanksgiving, which obviously isn't a Korean holiday. But what was really cool was involved in the festivities. Tom has a friend who's American who went over there and opened up a bar. So he closed his bar Thanksgiving night and did Thanksgiving dinner for all the expats in the area.
I love it.
We had a real Thanksgiving dinner in Korea with our new Korean daughter-in-law and some of the Korean friends and a bunch of American expats. It was great.
And I'll tell you, if you follow Bill on Instagram, if you don't, you should, or you follow him on Facebook, dig down. Dig back to November, because Bill kept posting the wedding. Literally, I was like, where is he? What is he doing? his son's getting married in Korea, and the whole family's over there.
We live streamed it, so because we had a lot of obviously there was only 4 of us that went over. So the older brother Andrew was at home, and his wife Andrea, cousins, and all the whole extended family and friends. They could watch it online because we live streamed it, which was really pretty cool. They had to get up at 4 a.m. to do so because Korea's
crazy time difference, right? Our friend Kirk likes your beard.
Yes. Well, I was just gonna say, this is my ride beard. Okay, I'm growing it, and like a hockey playoff beard. This gets me ready. And my exact line was gonna be, "It's no Kirk Hunt, but it's no Kirk Hunt."
See, we did the shout out for you, Kirk.
Yeah,
there you go.
Yeah. So thanks for showing up, Kirk.
Thanks for showing up, Kirk. So great. So a lot of people didn't know those things about you. So, and also people always like, what does Bill do for a living? What is Bill's past? What is his career like? What does he do besides ride his bike?
Well, I spent 34 years as a consultant to the gas and electric utility industry, all utilities across the country. And specifically, I worked with their customers on the customer side of the meter, we like to say. So I was either helping our customer learn how to conserve energy, how to purchase energy in a better way, a more efficient way, strategic marketing, energy efficiency, those kind of things. So I traveled a lot because of that, because every city has a gas and an electric utility, and if you want to have more than 2 customers, you have to go. So I spent 30 some years in airplanes and
as a consultant. So you've been an entrepreneur. You've kind of worked for yourself all this time.
It was originally with as a division of a Fortune 500 company, and then eventually we bought ourselves away from them, and we did like 17 mergers and acquisitions in 19 years or so. It was an ever-changing industry. So every day I know my wife would say, every other month you were coming home saying, I might lose my job.
But it's okay because I got a backup plan.
Yeah. And the thing is, the industry was growing so big that every time we would buy another company or merge with somebody, we still didn't have enough people. So it was a growing industry. But after 34 years doing that, I got tired of traveling. I got tired of being gone all the time, and we had been somewhat successful, so I was able to sell my share of the company and retire. I mean, nobody really retires, and especially at age 55, so I spent a couple years traveling and going around the world doing some things. Colleen and I went to Australia and New Zealand, all over the place. And now I work with a good friend of mine who used to work for me years ago. He started a new company, and my son, who has a managed service, IT managed service provider company. Both of them, I sort of am they call me the gray hair. When they need somebody older that can walk in and
close the deal.
Yeah, the gravitas or something, I don't know.
Yeah.
We just need an old guy to go in there and talk to somebody, then I do that. But it's a lot of fun. I like doing it. I work, part-time or so. I get to work with my oldest son all the time. My wife works with the other company, and we have a good time.
Hands in the pot, so it lets you travel, and it lets him give a lot back to the community, and we're going to talk a little bit more about that because Bill is a great speaker. He's being booked more and more as we keep going down the path and down the journey. But I met Bill at an obesity help conference, and I started working for Celebrate, and our president, Vic, said, when you get there, go find the bike guy. And I was like, what is he talking about, the bike guy? Who's the bike guy, right? Because Celebrate supports and sponsors Bill, and he's like, find the bike guy, go back on his Instagram. Are you not paying attention? Go back and look. So I'm digging through Celebrate's Instagram and looking for the bike guy, and there he was, and he's going on some crazy bike ride, and I was like, okay, we're going to find the bike guy. So that's where I finally found Bill, and we met at an OH conference, and the team here had met him years prior at WLSFA. So I know our girl Haley and Carrie and a bunch of the crew here already knew the bike guy. Nadia knew the bike guy, but I met Bill at OH, and we hung out, and we're this.
Actually, I saw you long before you saw me, because I said, "Who's that woman that's filming?" You were live streaming a lot of things, and doing running commentary. And she's somebody. I know she's got to be somebody.
She's not somebody.
Because she's recording this whole thing. And
she's busy.
And so I kind of made sure to get over close and bump it. Oh, hi. Oh,
hi, I'm Bill. You're the bike guy. I've been looking for you. Right. So we connected, but now our paths cross all the time. And actually, we are headed out. We're going to do a little shout out here for Robin. We are headed out shortly
to Orlando,
Florida, at the end of the month to attend
the Southeast Weight Loss Surgery conference.
Yeah, and I've never been before. This is the first time Celebrate's been there at the conference physically. Haley's coming with me, our territory manager that has that market, but I'm speaking, I'm doing a vitamin talk, and Bill's speaking, and Connie Stapleton and Laura Van like the whole crew's going to be there.
Right.
So if you live anywhere near Florida, you are going to want to travel to meet up with us the end of the month. I got my girls down there. My assistants are down there, and maybe they can flip the link up for us. But we're going to be headed down to Florida, where everybody down there will get a chance to hear Bill's story and hear him speak and hear Laura speak. And they'll be there. Hi, Becky. You guys jump on in. Hi, John. Thanks for joining us. So we are going to be headed out. So we met at OH. We're going to be hanging out there. And then I know we're going to be crossing paths for the rest of the year. But we're all very committed and very involved in the bariatric community. So, Bill, you had weight loss surgery.
I did.
How long ago?
October 4th, 2010.
October 4th, 2010.
That date is burnt into my memory.
Burnt into your memory like yesterday. Have you struggled with weight your whole entire life?
No, not really. Well, I was, as a youth and a child, I was so active that I'm sure I burnt off. I was known as the waste king. My dad called me the incinerator, just garbage disposal, because I ate everything. But when you were playing and I was born in 1956, so when
do the math, people.
I'll be 62 in 3 weeks. You went outside and played. We didn't have video games. We weren't inside. In fact, we didn't have air conditioning. Yeah, no cell phones. Believe it or not, I used to ride my bike and jog and didn't have an iPad or an iPod or anything to listen to. I mean, I just, we were, what's the word? Neanderthal, I guess. But no, we had a lot of fun, and you played and you worked. I played every sport possible, mostly just by going down to the local park and pick up games.
Right.
We weren't as organized as kids are now, but we were always playing. And you're always outside. And I mean, in the summer, if you stayed around your house, your mom would make you clean the house or
get out of the house,
do
run.
something. So yeah, as soon as Dad's off to work, we're out the door. And in fact, that's where I got my first. Biking was being on a bike was your first freedom, your first mobility.
Right. How to get away from the house.
Exactly. And what the coolest thing is, this is again the Leave It to Beaver era. So at night, the street lights came on, which was your cue. You had to be home. You race home on your bike and kind of jump off your bike and let it just kind of coast and fall in the front lawn and run in the house, Oh,
no, I've been here. What are you talking about?
Exactly.
I didn't miss my curfew.
I was on the porch the whole time, man. But then in the morning you come out and your bike would still be there, right on your front lawn.
Today that would not happen.
Yeah,
that bike would be gone.
You can't do that now. And the bike cost probably $10. So, it's,
right.
I mean, it was a different time. But I was really active and didn't really have a weight problem. In fact, high school, I ran track, played football, things like that. When I turned 21, 22, I started gaining weight. And it was just so gradual. I probably weighed all of 170 back then. Mm-hmm. And for the next several decades, it just went up to 400. And
so your highest weight was 400?
404.
404 when you went and started exploring surgery?
Yeah, it was the summer of 2010, and I was living up in Lansing, Michigan temporarily. We'd started a business up there, and I went to one of the hospitals and sat in on their information, and I was going to pay cash for it because I had been through, when I lived in Chicago, I went through hospital supervised diet or nutrition programs, and I'd been on all sorts of different plans and programs. And so I didn't want to do the insurance route where you had to wait 6 months and then go through 6 months of this and, I had made up my mind at that point. I had done all the investigation, and one of the people I'd like to thank for some of that is my sister Janet, who like 8 years earlier had sent me a packet on, Bill, this is none of my business, and you can tell me to mind my own business, but I know you're upset with your weight. You might want to read this. And it was all about weight loss surgery.
Thank you, sister.
Yeah, and it took 8 years for it to sink in because I kept saying, I see how the surgery works. It just it makes you only be able to eat this much. So I'll just eat this much. I mean, I'll just do it. I'll act as if I had surgery. Mm-hmm. And that as I'm explaining that to myself, you look over and see the pizza and go, I'll do that tomorrow.
Right.
And go eat
Next
the pizza.
week. I'm going to start on Monday.
And eventually I realized my problem is I don't have an off switch. Mm-hmm. It wasn't even that I ate a lot after I got older. It wasn't necessarily, I did eat at the wrong times a lot of time because of my travel. But I didn't have an off switch. So when you think about it, anything, I figured I had two options. I either pay a guy to follow me around and smack food out of my hand, or I go have surgery that would limit how much I could eat. And the thought of a guy slapping food out of my hand, it wasn't going to work.
It's a waste of food.
Yeah, we were just going to get in a fight. It wouldn't be good.
Right.
So I looked into the surgery, and that hospital in Michigan, which I won't name, wouldn't let me pay cash. They didn't want my money. They wanted insurance. And I remember leaving that. It was like July of 2010. And I sat out in my car, and I just burst into tears, and I cried, and I called my wife, and I called my business partner, Tim, and both of them, I said, I've just been told I'm going to die. There's no hope because they won't do it. And I really, that was the lowest point of my life, at least weight related. And when I got back to the apartment where we were staying, and I talked to my wife, she said, your cousin Brian had some surgery down in Detroit area. You might want to ask him. So there I found out about Providence, St. Joe Providence.
Providence?
And it was actually St. Joe at the time, and Providence had bought them. And I went there and met Dr. Sabir. Mm-hmm. And he listened to me for about 45 minutes, talk about everything I'd been through and all the things and why, all the logic and the reasons why I said this weight loss surgery and specifically gastric bypass was right for me. And he didn't say a word. He just sat there and stared at me most of the time. And I summed it up by saying, and so for all of those reasons, that's why I've come to the conclusion that this is the best option for me, and I want to pursue it. And he finally looked at me and he goes, and that, sir, is the only reason why I'm going to agree to do surgery on you. And we shook hands.
Write the check.
And we shook hands. That was probably August, and October 4th I had the surgery.
That's fantastic. So how many years out?
Well, it would be 8 this coming October.
Wow. 8 years out, gastric bypass. Had to fight to get it. Researched it. Took you 8 years to get ready to sign up to do it. So you're not a newbie. This isn't a new rodeo.
One of the pieces I've written, and I do a talk on it every now and then, is people ask you, do you wish you'd had weight loss surgery earlier in life? And those 8 years after my sister sent me that information and the couple of years of struggle figuring out what I was going to do were absolutely essential to my success now. Mm-hmm. I mean, I'm thoroughly convinced that there's no use thinking I wish I had this earlier, because I wasn't who I was at the time, and I wouldn't have had the success I had, because all of it's not the surgery that makes it work, it's you using the surgery. And I probably wasn't, it would be like putting a hammer in the hands of a 3-year-old. It's not a safe tool in the wrong hands.
Right. And you won't find the success. You have to be ready for the adventure, for sure. So guys, you heard here, he was athletic as a child. He didn't have a weight problem as a child. He was out there playing the playground. He played sports all the way through high school. And then he hit those 20s, maybe a little beer drinking, a little hanging out, little college. And the next thing you know, you got married, you had kids.
And being a consultant traveling around, the probably one of the neatest and worst things in the world is going to dinner on someone else's nickel. Oh, yeah.
Order the best of the best.
Oh, yeah. A 6-ounce steak, why would I do that?
You want dessert? And if I don't eat it all, I'll take it back to the hotel.
Exactly. The size, the drinks, just everything.
Entertainment.
Probably, I'm sure I ate 2,000 calories at a dinner, plus, lunches of another 1,000, and and it was a great way to do business, sit down with people, buy them.
Break bread.
Yeah, but the habits that I developed, and then you go back to your hotel and it's midnight and you think,
just go to bed.
I'm going to hit the gym. And yeah, right. Especially when you realize I'm meeting someone at 6 a.m. for breakfast. No, I'm going.
No, not happening. And guys, I'm going to tell you, the before and afters with Bill are dramatic and they're amazing. And he writes blogs and he's a great person to follow for just those reasons alone. I just wanted to give you some background before we jumped into the nitty gritty today. So I'm going to have my assistants throw up some links to a blog that Bill has recently written so you can get to know him even more. And I'm going to have them throw up a before and after picture. So they're going to be putting those down there in the feed as well. So you can see it's a night and day difference. I met this Bill today. I probably would have walked past you and never recognized you on the street. It's night and day. It's a new lease on life. So Bill's got the family. He had the career. He's got, the background, the athletic, the whole pieces. But what we want to talk about today is the magical bike, because he's known as the bike guy. So he was athletic growing up. He was athletic in college. So then Bill has weight loss surgery. And then Bill one day says, I'm going to get back into being an athlete. So you just wrote a blog about it.
I did. in my 20s, I would go, early 20s, another thing I should mention is that I taught dance and gymnastics. I took dance.
Dance lessons.
I was and then I danced professionally, and I taught gymnastics. I wasn't a very good gymnast. I was a very good gymnastic instructor, if I pat myself on the back, and I think a great dance instructor. But I used to run. I mean, I would come home at night and just be bored, so I would run for 2 or 3 hours, just run past my friends' houses, or past that's my own school, and and in the evening it's quiet. And I just liked that. It was just a way to pass time, and I wanted to get back to that. So when I had surgery and lost weight, my whole goal, my first goal, thinking physically, was I was going to run a marathon, because I'd done that as a 20-year-old
marathon runner.
And then, maybe I'm older, so I'll shoot my sights on a half marathon. And then I thought, well, maybe just a 10K at first and 5K. But I had this plan. I was going to build on it.
Ramp up.
And I thought, this is going to be an easy piece of cake, in fact, because it's something I've done so many times. So I downloaded the program Couch to 5K. If people have heard of it.
I've printed that many times. I've never done it.
Yeah. And they take you through progressions. So the first day, I'm just supposed to run for 30 seconds and then walk for 90 seconds, and then repeat that cycle 6 times. Warm up, cool down, it's only going to be like 20 minutes. And I was all excited. I set my alarm, 5:30, 6:30 in the morning. I go out, and I'm there, and the app is counting down, and I went to take my first step, and you kind of reach out with your foot, and my leg just wouldn't hold me. And even I'd lost 150 pounds by then, but still, I just fell flat in my face. I mean, literally just did a face plant on the sidewalk. And talk about being demoralized, well, I guess that half K is probably not going to happen anytime soon. And I really felt bad. I mean, I almost felt like, all right, this is it. I'm over it. I'm not doing any of this stuff. This physical stuff is not important. And it's so critical. And there's so many people I know that go through surgery and think, I'll eat well, but I don't like exercise. And I think, nope, you've got to exercise. I knew that, but that kind of failure made me not want to keep doing it. But I regained my composure and dedicated myself to strengthening my legs. The thing is, when you weigh 400 pounds, your legs are holding up that weight.
Oh,
but they're holding you straight up. As soon as you try to, I'm looking at my own picture here, as soon as you reach out with one leg, and you're trying to hold the weight on a bent knee and a bent thigh, there's no mas. They just said, no, we're not doing it. And so I had to really start from scratch. And that Couch to 5K, I did my own sub-flat Couch to 5K, kind of jog for 5 seconds and then walk for a minute and a half. But I got there, and only 3 months later, I ran a 5K in Bowling Green with my son, Terry. And
was it off the list.
Very proud of that. It was probably, I think I did it in 35 minutes yet. I beat him. So
that's amazing. There you go. Beat the kid.
Sorry, Terry, but I did beat you. He can really kick my butt now. But then
there was a day and a time.
There was a day I beat you, Terry. So, but running, I found that 5K is fine. I can do that. I can gut it out. But just the mechanics aren't the same. My legs aren't the same. My knees aren't the same. I was 20 then. I'm 60 now. So biking is something that doesn't give you that problem. It doesn't hurt your knees. It's not jarring. And I had always, like I say, as a kid, the bike was it was like a driver's license to a 16-year-old. It is your key to freedom, And so then I went to my garage and found my old bike and pulled it out. And my friend Jeff is probably the one. Again, hi, Jeff. Thank you very much for this. He said, Bill, why don't we ride bikes? And I said, yeah, I've wanted to get back into that. So we started riding. And at first, we probably did 2 miles. And believe me, I'm not a distance snob or anything. Riding is riding. So if you ride 2 miles a day, or you ride 20 miles a day, or you ride 100 miles on a weekend, it's all good. Just get on the bike and ride. But that's what we did. And we started ramping up and doing more and more mileage. And pretty soon I realized I like doing overnights. I like doing bike adventures, more than just, I'm going to go ride 20 miles and come back. I want to go ride 20 miles, pitch a tent, sleep, and then wake up in the morning and come back. Or, go from my city to where I have a friend live in another city, or something, like coming up to Wadsworth or something. And so bike adventuring is really, I really call myself a bike adventurer more than a bike rider.
I love that. I love a good adventure. That's a great story. I know the bike, for a lot of you out there, put up in the comments, who loves a good spin class? You get in there, because a lot of us, we have done so much damage to our joints all those years, holding all that weight, that a bike like does not put all that pressure on those
Right.
joints. Like, I mean, don't get me wrong, you can go to SoulCycle and be doing the up and down and the crazy, but a typical bike, you're going to get on a bike, you're outside, the sun's coming down, like there's a breeze, you can go on a nice Sunday bike ride, or you can be in a spin class going to town and being crazy and burning crazy calories.
You know how runners talk about getting a runner's high, and I remember that from like I said, I used to run until I was bored. Well, bicycling is the same thing. It's more of a spiritual, for me, it's a spiritual event. It's especially when you're doing long distances, when you're riding 6 to 8 hours a day.
I can't imagine.
Over the miles. You've got a lot of time to just sit and contemplate and watch out for dogs, because that's the one.
Dog-free zones.
Yeah, I've been chased by a few. But you're riding through the country somewhere, and you've got the atmosphere. I don't even mind when it's raining. I don't mind when it's cold. I don't really mind anything about the environment you're riding through, because you're experiencing it so different than when you're in a car.
Absolutely.
In a car,
Absolutely.
you have to pay attention to where you're going. I mean, a bike, you need to too. But again, things are only coming at you at 12 miles an hour. So you can spend a lot of time rubbernecking and seeing things. And if you decide you see something that looks cool, you just pull over and you stare at it for a while. You take a picture, or you talk to that person, or whatever. So it's very just the feeling, the spirituality of it. And we talk in the weight loss community about the mind, body, and spirit connection and triangle there. That's where the spirit part comes in, because obviously you're getting your exercise and you're making choices along the way. There's a lot of challenges, like how do you
watch
eat?
the gravel,
and how do you eat on a ride? I'm burning.
I would stop. Pull over, people.
but if it's not on your bike,
right?
You can't.
Right.
But that's even cool, because I've stopped many times, and there's a homeowner somewhere near me, or they see and where are you riding to, and you get to talking, and pretty soon they said, do you need some water? Do you need a banana? You want to come in for a meal?
We'll grill you a burger. Pull up a chair.
I've had all of that.
Wow.
All of that. And that's the kind of stuff that makes it, that just it puts it in here in your soul.
That makes it an adventure, not a ride.
Exactly, and it's not exercise.
Yeah.
I've never thought of bike riding as an exercise.
So he shared with you what he loves about it. He loves being in nature, the spirituality about it. He also talked about the stresses of the body. He's not pounding the pavement, doing the marathons and the runs. It helps with the joints. So if someone is interested in biking, now you got them all fired up. You all want to go out and have a spiritual experience, right? You want to all ride by the president of Celebrate's house and have him flip you a burger. It sounds like
exactly.
a plan. We're gonna plan that ride, Vic. We're gonna
good
plan a
plan.
ride right by your house, Vic. So get ready. But let's say
I
somebody's...
like cheese on my burger, by the way.
There you go, because you're gonna burn it off.
Yes,
Why not?
that's right.
It's got some protein in it. Why not, people?
Absolutely.
But so with all that being said, so like let's say I'm all fired up and I want to learn about biking. How does someone get started? Like outside of like, okay, you rode a bike when you were a kid, but like where do I go buy a bike? And how do I have a good experience getting into biking?
People, I think, have the same feeling about walking into a bike store as some people feel about walking into a workout, a gym. Their first time, if they haven't been there. They're afraid that everybody's going to be super elite athletes, and they're going to look at you and go, well, this person's, what are they doing here? Well, there's certainly bike stores like that. Just if you walk in and get that sense, leave. Go. There's many bike stores, and you'll go into a bike store and just say, I'm new to this. And anybody that's really into biking knows that you need to bring people in. It's like anything, in the trades or in any line of business, you need to bring new people in to keep the population growing and active. So they're smart. They'll see a potential new customer and bring you in and set you up. Now, they're salespeople, so they may be willing to sell you a more expensive bike than you need. But you go in with an idea. You do not need to spend a lot of money. I mean, there's brands like Giant and Specialized, whatnot, that make some very good basic bikes you can get for a couple $100. Buy a used bike too. There's nothing wrong with that, but just making sure that somebody who knows a little bit about the mechanics has looked at it, that your derailleurs and brakes and whatnot aren't going to fall off anytime soon, and that it's good. But it's like anything. I think if you're going to learn to play tennis, don't go buy a $400 tennis racket.
Right.
You can get as much exercise using a shoebox top at the beginning, and you're probably not going to be any better with the $400 racket than with the shoebox top at first. But as you get better, and as you figure out what you like about it, or you may figure out you don't like about it, and you move on to another sport, and you haven't spent $2,000 on a bike.
Right.
So I say, get in, and it's like a lot of things. Just get in and do it. And once you start doing it, you'll discover what you like about it. Like, I'm not a fast rider. I mean, I don't, like I say, when I go 12 miles an hour, some people go, well, I go 15 to 18. Okay, that's you. I don't ride fast. I can ride forever. I can ride 8 hours at a crack. And it's what I enjoy. So you find it, and because I like doing that kind of riding, and I like having my gear on my bike, I need a bike it's not really a racing bike,
right?
Because they're not built for that.
Long distance.
They're built differently. The geometry of the bike are different. In fact, I was going to do a video soon in advance of the ride, just kind of showing people of the bikes I have, how the geometry of the frame and where the wheels are and why this is a road bike versus this is a racing bike and what a touring bike means.
You need to do that video. We would love that video, because I can tell you, when I was living in Detroit, I had a friend that was like marathon Ironman man, and we worked out together at the gym. He's like, you need to buy a bike, you need to buy, and I ended up at a bike store, and I did exactly what he's talking about. I bought that crazy expensive bike. I bought the truck bike, and I'm telling you, there's more to know about a bike than you would ever know. Like, they measured me, you're too tall, we have to special order it. Not that I'm too tall, but I didn't have, like, I needed a different size bike.
It needs to fit
and
your
height. Weight and your height, and they measure your gait. Like it's insane. And then, you need biker pants? Do you need bike shoes? Well, do I? And so next thing I know, I have a computer on my bike, I have a helmet and everything. And of course I wanted to match, because you gotta be cute when you're riding a bike. Yeah. But I walked out of that store and thought, I could have like put a down payment on a car right now. You know what I mean? Like, it's an experience. It's crazy. And so I had that experience, and I'll tell you, I have a beautiful red Trek bike. I've had it for years. It's amazing, and I still love it. But you don't have to go to that caliber. The person I'm dating, literally last summer, we first started dating, I said, do you have a bike? Because in Ohio, we have this crazy, amazing bike path, the It's a towpath. Mm-hmm. Towpath trail, and it goes all over Ohio. You can go to these, and this is the thing, there's this whole biking world. If you don't know about it, like, Google biking and where you live, and there's paths everywhere, and like there's a place where you can go to Cleveland and get on a train and take the train down with your bike and ride back, like, and it's all these, what Bill calls an adventure. So I had this boyfriend, he's like, I don't have a bike. I haven't had a bike in years. And so I know somebody. I got somebody. So I call Bill. We need to buy a bike. Where do we buy a bike? What brand? Because he's a fireman. He hasn't ridden a bike forever. He thinks he can do everything. He is amazing. But we bought those bikes and we headed out. 20 miles later, my butt's numb. His butt is killing him. His legs he works out every day, but it's a different kind of workout.
It's different. And, I get asked a lot, how do you train for these long distance rides? You must have to put a lot of miles in. And the honest truth is, it's not important to me to put a lot of miles in to train. My legs are strong. I'm good to go. I just need time in the saddle. That's what we call the seat. The saddle.
Firm your butt up.
Just
I'll say it, you guys, because I got a big old butt, and I'm telling you.
You need to bruise it, and you need to chap it, I guess.
Chap it, bruise it, numb it, whatever it is. Yeah. But when you're going on a distance ride, you don't want to ride 10 miles and not be able to ride 10 miles back. Wherever you go, you got to get back from.
When that happens, when you have a sore, when you get a blister there, it's impossible to ride standing up for a long time. And it is. It'll kill your ride faster than anything. Yeah,
and that's when you do buy the bike shorts.
Yes. Well,
you get over how ugly they are, and you just shut up and put them on.
If you're into speed and whatnot, then the shoes and the clip-ins and everything are going to be a lot important. But again, I'm not into that. So the two things that are absolutely essential are a good pair of bike pants and a helmet, obviously, for safety. And
a good bike seat.
Well, the seat, yeah, absolutely. I'm considering that all part of the bike. So once you've got the bike you want, the right size for you, so that your legs stride. You can't. You don't want to overextend your leg. You don't want to be riding with your knees
cramped
up in your
up.
chin. Mm-hmm. You'll lose power, and it'll hurt your body. Once the bike's all tuned in for you, then you have to have the helmet and a good pair of bike pants. I mean, you wouldn't want to ride barefoot, but a pair of tennis shoes can work, whereas a pair of jeans won't.
Right.
No
loose pants either.
No,
that's a bad idea,
Laura.
Will
get caught in your
you're cute, but it's gonna hurt.
Yeah, your cuffs will get caught in your chain, and then you'll be in big trouble.
And so the thing is guys, you don't have to go spend the crazy money. Pull the bike out of the garage, dust it off. This time of year, check eBay, check out your little Facebook local groups, because people get bike fever. People like Bill are like, I want a new one. If I sell this one, so you can pick up bikes. It's spring. People are starting to get bike fever. They want the new bike, the shiny bike, the bigger long distance bike. So check your eBays, check your papers,
and do a little research online. Just Google things like trail bike versus touring bike versus racing bike. Because if you're riding on trails, especially if they're cinder trails or something, you're going to have tires that are an inch and a half wide.
Right.
You need that, or you won't get the traction. You know, I ride, last time I rode on 23 millimeters, so if I turn in, there's a dirt road in front of me or sand road, I won't go anywhere. And so I very carefully pick my routes because of the type of bike I have. But some people like riding up and down trails. You know, they ski resorts and things have this in the summertime where you can ride your bike, have your bike up on the lift, and then ride your bike down. Those are the you want an outdoor dirt bike, a mountain bike for that kind of thing.
So you can tell from his passion. We could talk bikes. Bill and I could talk all day. Let's be real. But his passion and his drive for biking, like you have the itch. You want to get the bike out. You want to dust it off because it can be enjoyable. It's not the crazy strenuous workout. You can enjoy it. It's a lazy Sunday afternoon. You got bike fever. So I see Mary jumped on. Hi, Mary. Mary's a friend of mine in Detroit that rides bikes and trails. Her and her husband jump out there all the time. Sherry just joined us. So we've talked about biking. Hopefully you have bike fever. But what we're going to really dial in now is an adventure Bill has coming up. And so I want to talk a little bit about the WLSFA. It stands for the Weight Loss Surgery Foundation of America, and my girls are going to post up some links for you guys so you can learn more about the WLSFA. It's a nonprofit. They raise money for bariatric surgery. For people that have been denied, their insurance doesn't cover it. Maybe they don't have insurance that even has a possible option. But they do surgery grants for weight loss surgery and some plastic surgery they've done.
Right, that's possible. And for people who are medically referred, you know, it's
right. Comes from doctor referral.
And then who don't have insurance or cannot afford, can prove that they can't afford to pay for it themselves, but are in medical need of it. You know, basically that's why we can say we're saving lives, because these are people that are 500-600 pounds. I mean, big, you know, this isn't losing 25 pounds.
Right. This is for people that, it's not cosmetic. It's not, I want to lose a little weight before my wedding. These are people that it's life-changing. So these grants, it's a whole process, and the girls are going to put up the link where you can directly go, check it out, learn more about them. They're a nonprofit. And the president of our company is very passionate about this. He's about saving lives. He's about paying it forward. And we've been one of the premier sponsors from day one with the WLSFA, which we're extremely proud of. We actually do a vitamin nonprofit through the WLSFA for people that can't afford their vitamins. It's a whole nonprofit thing we do with the WLSFA. But each year they do a conference where people come together from all over the country. I know Laura, who is with the WLSFA, is on this video live with us right now, and she'll probably be posting up information and links as well. But each year they do a big conference. And in the past, people save money. It's like a vacation. All of the money for the tickets, it all goes towards the grants and towards the surgery. They have Carney Wilson, who's an ambassador for them. There's celebrities that come, vendors like Celebrate. We all come, we get together. For some people, it's their yearly vacation.
Right.
They spend the money because they're that passionate about saving lives.
And what's especially interesting to me is how you see a lot of people are 1 year out. You know, they're first time in, newbies. You know, they're there, or 1 or 2 years. But how many people are there and they're 10-year veterans or 12-year veterans and things? We have some on our board, like Sandy. People that have, all these years, and they're still actively involved and going to these events because not as much. They're getting a lot out of it,
right?
But they've been through these things. Now they're there because it's like a mission. I want to give. I see these people struggling that are going and asking the same questions we all asked. When can I do this, and how long did it take for this pain or that pain to go away? There's a lot of fear. There's a lot of unknown. And when you've been through it and you're 5, 8, 10 years out, you can tell somebody it's going to be okay.
Right.
You got this.
And one thing I enjoy about the WLSFA is they also showcase the people with the grants. They show the people before and after, and they bring some of the grant recipients attend the WLSFA, so you get to meet them in person, and you feel like, I helped you with this. My ticket helped pay for your surgery. You were the grant recipient last year, and I helped raise money for this foundation. So the WLSFA changes lives. There's conferences across the country, and a lot of times these conferences are very heavy into what type of surgery and the plastic surgery and registered dietitians and what you can eat and what you can't eat. And the thing I really enjoy, hats off my friends at the WLSFA, is that this is more a celebration of life. We always talk about it, celebrate life, and we tagline it always at the WLSFA, but this is where people are riding a bike for the first time with Bill Streetman. This is where people are dressing up in black tie and wearing that strapless dress and feeling amazing, and Bill was in a tux last year, and There are all kinds of presentations and talks. They do a Chopped with Carney Wilson, so it's cooking and it's food. It's not all about the surgery. It's about the afterlife. It's about celebrating your life. There's all these different speakers and talks, and this year the agenda is even more exciting. There's going to be an amazing talk on dream boards and setting goals by somebody. I don't know. And there's all these amazing talks, but you get to meet post-op people. You get to meet all of these people, but it's all about new adventures. It's almost like your to-do list after surgery.
I think that the greatest compliment I received on any of my talks was one of the nurses at the Ohio State Medical Center when I spoke there. She said it was billed as a speech on how to lose weight and live a healthier lifestyle, but it's really a talk on how to maximize, how to celebrate life.
Yeah, maximize your life.
And I thought about that and said, really, that's what it is. That October 4th, 2010 date, my birthday is April 20th, but my second birthday is October 4th.
Right. And
that's how important it is, and that's the date. I can demark my life before that date and after that date. Right. Because after that date, everything has changed. Now, it's not changed in spite of me; it's changed because of me.
Right.
But that makes it even better. And that's why I say when I meet people at these conferences and they're wondering, I say, the opportunities that are in front of you are so great, and there's 7 continents and 5 oceans and 7 billion people, and I want to swim in, walk on, and meet them all.
Yeah.
That's how I feel about life because I can. Yeah. Because there's no barrier anymore that used to be there. I couldn't even fit in an airplane seat for a while.
Yep. And you get to meet people from all over the country, the people that you're friends with in rooms and different pieces. And I have Laura in here putting points up here, and it's true. On Friday night, you have a theme. This year, it's in San Antonio. It's in Texas. Everything's bigger up in Texas, and the louder and bigger makes me happy. So it's in Texas this year. So there's events. There's a theme night Friday night. So it's always about what am I going to wear? There's a theme. There's the Saturday night dress-up night that celebrates sponsors. So there's always fun and themes. You're going to laugh. You're going to take tons of pictures. You're going to meet new people. You're going to have great new experiences. So I know the girls are posting up the link so you can learn more about it. And I think that there is a special promotion right now for Easter. It expires at midnight on Sunday if you want to go get your ticket. If you haven't bought it now, save some money, people. Go get your ticket. We will definitely be there. But there's also chapters across the country. There's not a lot of them. It's something that's new that we're building slowly but surely across the country. And we do have an Ohio wannabe chapter.
Yeah, wannabe.
It's not an official WLSFA chapter. It's an Ohio interest chapter. So if you're from Ohio, friends, and you're on this feed, please go check it out. The girls are going to throw that link up because Ohio is mighty, people, and we're going to get that chapter built. It's the heart of it all. I'm telling you, we have the Cavs. Like it's Ohio.
Yes, I know.
We have everything, right? But it's Ohio,
you can tell she's from northern Ohio because these Cavs in Columbus. There's only one thing.
I don't even know what that is.
The Buckeyes.
The Buckeyes, yeah.
Of course.
We don't talk about the Browns. We do talk about LeBron. I almost couldn't remember his name a minute ago. I went like, what's that guy's name? LeBron. We have LeBron. But anyways, total rabbit hole, Laura. But we have an Ohio interest group. So if you are from Ohio, the girls are going to put the link up. Please go there. Please join us. Please show some interest. There's some big things coming down the pipeline in Ohio that you're going to want to know about and be a part of. So stay tuned. But there are options. There's the WLSFA. There's the big event in San Antonio that's coming up. There's Ohio Interest Group. There are also links to the other chapters across the country. Bill is a member of the board. Bill, can you tell us what you do on the board at the WLSFA?
Well, I'm the designated guy.
Token guy.
Token guy. Yeah, I'm the newest member, and I met Antonia down at an OH event in Tennessee in 2015, and instantly fell in love with the concept of the organization and what it was doing. And I liked her passion, and so I said, hey, I just want to be a part of this somehow. Let me do something, let me work on something. And then she said, what do you do? And I said, well, I rode my bike down here. So she said, you could do that. And that's how the Tour of Hope got going, and we'll talk more about that in a second. But getting more and more involved in the organization, I wanted to be able to bring some of my experience in business to this realm, because business is, I'm always dealing with money, needing cash to grow, needing cash to be able to add resources and so on. So Right now, Laura is in charge of the event, and Sandy and all the other ladies have real specific things. I'm focused a lot on the Tour of Hope and sort of the generalist of everything. So
that's a perfect segue. Let's talk about the Tour of Hope, because that's why we brought you here today. So Bill sits on the board, and Tony said you can ride your bike. Get involved.
Yes.
Let's ride your bike.
Best of all worlds.
That's how it got created, right? The idea came from you and Antonia chatting about your hobbies and your adventures. So along comes the Tour of Hope. So each year, Bill, how many years have you been doing this?
Well, it's 4 years. The first year was when I rode down to Tennessee. Wasn't actually the Tour of Hope. It was what instigated the whole thing. So this will be the third ride.
The third official Tour of Hope ride.
Correct. And this year we're going from Plano, Texas, just north of Dallas, down to San Antonio. It's 330 miles, and I'll do that in 6 days, which is, about 55 miles a day on average. And I like to break it up into 50-mile increments because I always hope that when I get to a city, I can do a meet and greet with one of the local surgeons or weight loss centers of excellence, or just a group of people from the community that might be there and say, hey, we all live in Austin, we'll get together, and even if we just spend 5 minutes, drink a bottle of water and eat a banana and take off, that would be great. So I always want to try to build in time like that. I usually try to call radio stations and things along the way, and it's it's so tough to get that kind of awareness and that kind of promotion, but I need time for that. So I do that, and it'll be May 25th through the 30th. So it's going to be really over Memorial Day, that weekend.
So he is doing the ride this year, and like he said, he's going from how many miles? 330?
330.
So chopping it up into 50-mile increments, and he's literally going to be traveling through Texas, which can be warm.
Start in Plano, ride through Dallas, down to Waxahachie, and over to Waco. Waco to Killeen, Fort Hood area, down to Austin, and down to San Marcos, and then eventually, or ultimately down to San Antonio.
That is fantastic. So this is the third year you did it. The first year you rode from
my house, my driveway, up to a lake house up in northern Michigan. It was 468 miles.
So that first year, I remember watching you do that. It was along Michigan, John. So it wasn't to the destination of the WLSFA. You just set out, did a ride, raised money, and donated it to the WLSFA.
Growing up in the Detroit area, we would go what we call in Michigan up north for vacation.
Of course.
I grew up in Detroit, so we'd go up north, and my family had a lake house up in Gaylord. And all the time, every time we drive up, I'd always think as a kid, it'd be really cool to ride my bike up here. I mean, I remember being 15 thinking that. And then as I got older, I thought, and then I moved to Columbus, and so now I'm an extra 3 hours away, by car. And it seemed like it was too far away, especially in the shape I was in. But then when I lost weight, I said, this is a goal of mine. I'm going to do this. And on that ride, I decided two things. One is I'm not staying in motels along the way. I'm going to camp along the way. So everything has to be self-contained on my bike. And I published that I was going to do this. And what was really cool, a friend of my son, Steve, who had brain surgery, said, Bill, you're celebrating your new birth. I have a new birth, too. I want to ride with you. And he was my son's age, so it was cool to have a 30-year-old riding with me. So he rode with me that time. And it was great to have a riding partner. But we camped along the way. And I tell you, you'll never get more looks than when you ride into a campground on bikes and people see you, and then they start seeing you pitch in a tent, and they're looking, and you can tell they're looking around, where's his car? Where's the rest of the people?
Who's coming behind him?
And eventually people come over and go, what? How did you get, are you local? No, and then you tell them you came from Columbus, Ohio or something, and they just can't believe it. It's fun. It's really fun.
And I remember watching that adventure. And then last year, we were in Portland, Oregon, and you rode your bike from
Seattle down to Portland. It was really cool as we flew the bikes. Thank you, flew my bike out there. And in airport, I picked it up, assembled it in the airport. You get a lot of people looking at you. Went and changed my clothes into my bike clothes. And a good friend of mine, my bike guru, Rob Jerome, he rode with me. He flew out there, and we got on our bikes inside the airport and rode out the door and right out of the airport all the way down to Portland.
And I can't tell you how stressed out I was because Celebrate, we were traveling, and the weather was not great.
It rained every day, and it was about 42 degrees most of the time.
Cold, raining, and we're talking Seattle and Portland, there's these things called, not hills, mountains.
Yeah. And now when I rode down to Raleigh, I rode over the Appalachians. But the Appalachians are a series of mountains, but they're long hills, so you're going up and down like this. The mountains out there are taller and steeper. And actually, there's a valley that goes down from Seattle down to Portland, but you can't ride on the highway. So what you're almost always doing is riding up the side of the mountain, going almost to the top, and riding back down, back up and back down, back up and down. And it was just nonstop, this kind of up and down the side of the mountains. And people would say, well, at least you get to go downhill. I tell you what,
scary.
Downhills are scarier than the uphills are hard, and the uphills are hard.
Beyond
That's
hard.
how scary the downhills are.
I'd be like, I'm tapping out. Hello.
I'm
walking.
There's times on those downhills when I would rather ride twice as high and just be safe and not get the downhill at all than this downhill, because you're going 45, 50 miles, almost 50 miles an hour, on your bike and in a road. Yeah, and every little vibration starts doubling and tripling the effect. Plus, cars come whipping around corners and whatnot, and heck, even if an animal ran out, you'd be in big trouble.
Right.
So the hardest part is always the mountains anywhere. That's the hardest.
So we have no mountains in Texas, right, on this ride?
No, this will be
relatively hot.
I think I looked at the route I laid out, and it doesn't elevate more than 750 feet total.
I'm enjoying him on this one. So, this is the Laura ride.
Yeah, this will be a lot easier. Maybe a little warmer, I hope, and a little less rain than last time.
Yeah. We literally, I remember kept reaching out to Laura going, where's Bill at? Have we heard from Bill? Has he broadcast lately? Because he does it live. He's got his Go Cam on his bike, and you're riding with him at times, and you can hear them talking a little bit in the background, but you kind of keep your eye on him and make sure he's making it there. And then when he rides into town, we're always there going, can we take you to lunch? What can we do for you?
Yeah, the one of the things that because I love telling this, I think it's such an instructive example. The mountains are difficult, and riding up them, like I say, is difficult, and riding down them is very scary. And when I went down to Raleigh, I remember one day looking at this mountain, and the first thing in the morning I had to go up this mountain, and it was rainy, and the clouds were right there. I was mad about it. I just wish there was a way around this mountain. I didn't want to have to climb it. It was like the third or fourth day, so I was tired. And I started up, and I had my head down. I was probably grumbling the whole time. But before I knew it, an hour and a half had gone by, and I peaked. I was actually above the clouds. I was above the clouds, and the top of this was essentially a bald mountain, just a peak. And I'm there, and the sun is shining bright. I can see mountains coming up out of the top of the clouds to eternity. It was the most beautiful thing I'd ever seen. And after all that physical activity to get up there and stuff, I just burst into tears. I was just overcome by the beauty of it. And it was then that it occurred to me that, if I hadn't accepted the challenge of riding up this mountain, I never would have got this view.
Yep.
Ahead of time, it only looked like a barrier. It only looked like a challenge that he didn't want to face. I didn't know that there was a diamond up there, that the reward was going to be something that I'll take with me forever. I can close my eyes and see it anytime I want. And that's what a perfect metaphor for life, really, but especially in the weight loss surgery. For those people that have not gone through it yet, I will tell you the same words that Jean told me, an old friend. It's the hardest thing you'll ever do, but it's the best thing you'll ever do for yourself. Mm-hmm. So absolutely, if you look at the challenge, you'll never do it, and get hyper-focused on that, you'll never do it. Go ahead and accept it. Get into it, and then start searching for the reward. You will find it. It will fill your soul, and then you'll realize that barrier was there. What other barriers can I go burst?
Right. What
other barrier can I go achieve and knock down? Because there's something valuable there. And the other example I always give is I've seen 3 babies be born. It's the ugliest, most painful, most disgusting, most scary. Everything that you can, and if that was all childbirth was, nobody would ever have a child. But within 5 seconds, you're holding your little baby, and you're going, wow, and I had the easy part of the job.
Right. Catch. Yeah.
Thank you, Colleen.
Thank you, Colleen.
Yeah, so it's like that. And that's what I find in biking is so many perfect metaphors for life.
So I don't know about you guys, but how inspiring. You want to go buy a bike. You want to get involved. You want to go to the WLSFA. You want to be a part of it. You want to help save lives. And the good news is today you can. And here is something exciting that we're doing different than we've ever done before.
Right.
We have always sponsored and been a part of Bill's ride because it just inspires us. He's celebrating life out there on the road, and we always want to be a part of it at Celebrate. But so for so many of us, maybe you can't get the vacation time off, and maybe you can't get to the WLSFA, and maybe financially you can't afford to get the plane and get the hotel and do all those pieces, but you want to be involved. You want to support this man that's climbing mountains, people, to save lives. You want to be a part of it. So we've been brainstorming together and said, what can we do this year to make it a little bit different? And we have figured out a way that you can go on the ride with Bill. Bill is going to take you on the 330-mile ride. Now, if you live in Texas and we can get you the map and you can meet up and be clapping and handing him bottles of water, or maybe you bring your bike and you ride along behind him or next to him, by all means. But for those of us that don't live in Texas, that have so much, awe of what he's doing for our community, there's a way we can support him. So for this year, for the Tour of Hope 2018, what we are going to do is we're going to help Bill raise money. And here's how we're going to do it. My assistants are going to raise up the link below, and this link is going to take you to the page on the WLSFA where you can make a donation to Bill's ride. So years before you could donate, and it's always that thing like, oh yeah, that's good, I'm going to do it. But this is the year you're going to have a reason why to do it, because you're going to be in the backpack with him. You're going to be riding with him, because every year, Celebrate does t-shirts for Bill. We put shirts on him, Celebrate Life. We have him on the road, and we always, always support him in that way. This year, we're designing a special t-shirt. And on the front of it, it's going to be Bill, and he's going to have his little bit emoji, and he's going to have his Celebrate wheels and his daisies. But we're going to put your name on the back of his shirt. So you're going to be riding with Bill cross country. All it's going to take is a 25... Pushing him. You've got his back. Literally, you have got his back. You are pressing him on and pressing him forward.
If you see any dogs chasing me, let me know.
Yeah, give him the heads up from behind, right? But for $25, you're going to go to the link that the girls are posting up, and it has a little drop-down box, and you can donate $25 to the WLSFA. 100% of these proceeds go towards Bill's bike tour. You can put $25 in, and Celebrate is going to put your name on the back of Bill's shirt. Now, if we have 1,000 names, how many days are you on the road?
6.
6. We are going to have 6 t-shirts. And if it takes 100 on the back of every shirt and you ride a special day with Bill, you are going to be riding with Bill. Every night when he hits his camp spot, dials it down, takes his shower, gets ready to go eat dinner, you usually go live.
Yes.
So he's going to do a shout out. Every night he's going to talk about his trip, talk about what he rode for the day, and we're going to do shouts out. You're going to hear your name. He's going to randomly put people on the back of his shirt and say, Mary, you rode with me today. Thanks for your support. So this is a way where you can be a part of it. You know that $25 is going to go and save a life. $25 is going to add up. And for all of us, what is $25? Skip the morning latte, right? Maybe you don't go to a movie this month. It's a date night. It's probably half of a date night, right?
Yeah.
So it's $25. You can write it off at the end of the year because, you're pledging towards a nonprofit. But this is the type of thing, you get solicited on the phone. People call you. It's the fireman's ball. No offense to firemen. I love my firemen. But it's a fireman's ball, or do you want to donate to this? And we all support. Maybe it's cancer. Maybe it's ALS. Maybe it's something that personally hits our heart. Have you struggled with weight? This personally hits your heart. Have you had weight loss surgery? This personally hits your heart. And I don't know about you, but the best $25 is money that Bill's going to go climb a mountain for me. I'm going to pay Bill to do the heavy lifting for me. But $25 is going to get you on the back of Bill's shirt. You're going to travel across Texas with him. You're going to be giving another lease on life to someone out there. And our goal is we want to raise as much money as we can. What's the goal?
$10,000.
So we want to raise 10 grand. And guys, it doesn't have to be from a bariatric person. Like, this is your plight. This is anybody and everybody that supported you. This is going to your mom. This is going to your friends. This is going to your company. There's no reason you couldn't do something internally and maybe your company will match it. Who knows? But for every $25 that is out there, the name's going on the back of the shirt. And hopefully that link is up there. The girls have flipped up that link now. Go pledge it right now, because I can tell you, when I get off the video, my name's going on the back of the shirt. Who doesn't want a Laura Preston up on their back on the back of the shirt?
I want it.
So we're going to get it up there, So reach out. And this is where you push that share button. This is where you ask them to share up the feed, share Bill's story, because it's not just about raising money for the WLSFA. You've heard his story.
Actually, there's 3 goals I have on the ride. One is just to increase the awareness of the obesity epidemic. I mean, people don't realize the severity of, when 70% of the adults in this country are overweight and 30 whatever it is percent,
and the number keeps climbing.
Exactly, and then the all the ramifications, the medical costs that come from the comorbidities and everything. It's just
insurance rates.
It's just it affects everybody. Even if somebody says, "Hey, I'm 6'1" and weigh 145 pounds," doesn't affect me. Yes, it does. It affects the rates you pay for insurance.
Yeah.
It may you want to lose your aunt or uncle to obesity, or anybody. It affects you. Trust me, it affects you. And we could have everybody that's ever had weight loss surgery donate, and that would be great. But there's many more people who have never had weight loss surgery. And so, like you said, it doesn't have to be people from the community. I know in the rides past, I've just pitched through my neighborhood and my friends, my own non-weight loss surgery social media network. And I get a lot of donations that way. People that, I'll give a little shout out to a neighbor, the Maoris. They've always been there and donated, the first ones in the door. And we go back, our kids went to school together years ago, hadn't seen each other for years. And yet they said, oh, we know this guy, we know what he's gone through, and they donated. People will do it. Now, I know a lot of people keep their weight loss surgery kind of private and secret and whatnot. Okay, I get that. But, that's not everybody. Not everybody keeps it totally secret. And go out and be proud of what you've done, be proud of what the community does. And, yeah, there's a lot of misconceptions. I mean, people say, well, I donate to cancer or Alzheimer's. Those are wonderful things to donate to, too. Yeah. But, if we cured the world of Alzheimer's, that would be fantastic. But we'd still have 148 other diseases that kill people every day. So there's no end to the need. And this case, we all know exactly what, why, and how it helps. So, yeah, please. And when you go to that link, if you go to the Tour of Hope page, WLSFA.org/TOH2018.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes. I can't believe you just said that, but yes.
You go there, go down to the center of the page. There's a little orange button, and click on that, and you'll see the drop-down box that Laura talked about with dollar amounts and whatnot. But that's where you can hit and register.
And I want to say to you guys, share up the post, share it in your feeds. If you have a support group in your hospital, share it there. Raise the money, be the team leader, share the message, tag your friends below. Because I can tell you right now, I got friends in this community. I'm going to do the shout out. I paid $25 to see Frank Suarez shave his head. He had a dollar goal. And when he hit that dollar goal, he was going to shave his head to support cancer, to support a fight someone he knew was making. So what did Laura Preston do? Oh my God, $25 to see him bald? I'm on it. So Frank Suarez, I'm shouting it out to you.
Looks like I already started that.
See? Support the cause. If you have friends below that you know that they would be happy to donate $25 to, put them in the feed below. This is a really long video, and I apologize for it, but I don't, because this is you getting to know Bill. So many of us know him as the bike guy. There's more to Bill than that. You want to support him because you've heard his story, you've heard his struggle, you've heard what he went through and how he pays up for it at multiple conferences. It's a long video, but it's a story of Bill's treatment, and it only taps the beginning of it. At Celebrate, we are going to be doing posts. We're going to do a shorter video just talking about it that's easier to share. But this is the nuts and bolts and the meat and potatoes of what the WLSFA is, what the Tour of Hope is. So if you need to use this video as a resource, click it, share it, use the link, copy it off Facebook, share it in groups. Use this, this is your little telethon moment. This is where you really understand the Tour of Hope. You understand his passion for the bike. You understand what he's setting out to do. But as a community, this is when we can rise up. This is when we can help pay for surgery. Wouldn't it be great if the Tour of Hope could sponsor its own surgery? That's the goal, right?
I have the publicly stated goals and then the secret goals inside. And yeah, exactly. That's my secret goal is I want someday to be able to say this particular surgery grant was paid for strictly by a bike ride.
Right. Tour of Hope gave someone their lease on life.
Goal.
And we can all help. Maybe you have a company. I worked for Nordstrom's, and back in the day, if you had something you were a part of, you could submit it to Nordstrom's and they would match funds raised. So maybe you have a company that will write a check. This is just putting it out there in the community. But the one thing that we can all do right now is we all can put $25 towards the cause. We can all do it. And at Celebrate, we're going to put your name on a t-shirt. We're going to make you Tour of Hope famous, people. I'm going to do a post that we are going to get names from the WLSFA, and I'm going to do a running log. And I'm going to put your name out there because I'm going to do a shout out to you for sponsoring and taking part of this. joining with Celebrate on sponsoring Bill. So you put the $25 towards Bill, we're going to put your name on the shirt, and we're going to have a post that's going to be locked and loaded at the top, and every time somebody puts their name in, the WLSFA is going to email me those names, and we're going to keep adding to the list. So my challenge is people, how many names do we get to celebrate around here, right? Like, let's do it. There's
I want to have to wear a really long shirt.
It is.
I want to have to wear a
night
shirt.
We're going to have him, he's going to be walking out of the hotel room in a night shirt because it's going to take that much to get those names there. So it's a shout out to Frank. Carrie, thank you for tagging Frank. Frank, I love ya. It's a shout out to Frank. And it's our friends out there because we can't all write giant checks. We can't all, but we can be there by heart, right? So we've got Dawn in here from Slimpressions. She's supporting Bill. My friends, we can do a huge shout out. If you have friends, shout them out. Put them in the link below. It's $25, friends.
And I would love it to say again, if you live in Texas, if you're along that route, show up. Just meet and greet and shake hands. I would love the company, just the break that is to meet you. If you have a bike and you want to ride, just ride for a mile if that's all you want to do, and turn around and go back. Ride for a half a day. Ride down to the next city if you can get a ride back. I know there's logistics, so you don't have to go the whole route. Just show up. Bring your surgeon. Bring your weight loss support group. And if there's anything I can do along the way, sometimes I've had calls from support centers up in Michigan and down in Tennessee that have called and said, would you be available for a phone call just to talk about things? Mm-hmm. Absolutely. That's so great. I would love to do that. If you have a support group, and especially if it's along the route, and you got a meet next Tuesday, I'll be on the phone with you and just give a little shout out, spend 5 minutes.
Get involved.
Whatever you need, so that what Laura's talking about, the promotion and the sharing the information can get out geometrically.
Yeah. And if you want to, reach out. If your family supported you on the surgery, maybe you go around and maybe everybody in your family donates $25 and you make a $200 pledge to him. You never know. Maybe there'll be a magical dollar, and we'll have to brainstorm on this, that will get you your very own shirt. Maybe a bigger donation gets you your own shirt. This is just a creative idea from us here at Celebrate with Bill on getting everybody involved and taking you on the tour of hope with us. I think that wraps it up. We've been on here way too long.
Yeah, I know, but we both talk a lot.
We do. We're very passionate. But that's it, guys. Thank you, Carrie. Thank you, Dawn. Thank you, Laura. Everybody in here that supported us. Lizzie. Everybody that supported us with the links. Get to know Bill. Follow him on Instagram. Follow him on Facebook. Subscribe to the blog if there's a subscription feed in there. Go read his stories. And most of all, we hope to see you at the WLSFA. Again, we will be there celebrating.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Thank you, Laura. Thank you, Celebrate.
Always.
Can't thank you enough.
Always, always. So that's it, you guys. Episode 58. Who knew? It's a long one, but it's an important one. Let's go out there and make this happen. And guess what? Go enjoy the weekend. It's Easter. Spring's in the air.
Spring break.
You got a nice holiday. Hopefully you're a Good Friday person. You have tomorrow off. Enjoy the holiday. Love on your family and friends. And we'll see you back here next week. We will be back here live next week. And who knows what we'll be talking about. We'll figure it out.
Yeah,
something good's coming down the pipeline always. That's it. That's it from us here at Celebrate. You guys go out. Have an amazing weekend. And we will see you back here next Thursday. Take care. Bye-bye.
Thank you.